I finished competing professionally from swimming in June of 2021. I was just trying to find my feet away from the sport. And based in London, I was just doing some private coaching. And someone put me in contact with the producers. The producers were looking for someone, a female trainer, for Daisy to take her for a swimming assessment in preparation for her for the film. And I thought initially it was just going to be a one-off session, and then it turned into we started training together, and then my involvement with the film just kind of came from there really. And I went out to Bulgaria for the whole duration of the shoot. Got to work with Daisy and the other members of the cast and crew, and it was just fantastic. Yeah, such a great experience. Yeah, so when we had our first session together, swimming fitness is very unique to, you have to put the hours in, the miles in the pool to build that swimming endurance. It's a very different fitness to kind of like running or cycling. So it was very much, I knew we had to be consistent with the amount of times we were training per week in order for Daisy to build that fitness for all of the open water swimming that she was going to have to do at the end of the film, and even throughout the whole production. There was so much swimming, not just the open water channel attempt swims, but also all the competitions throughout Trudy's career. So I knew there was going to be a lot of training needed, that consistency, sort of making sure that, and Daisy was just so committed from the very first session. She trained so incredibly hard. She really worked on her technique as well. Technique is a huge thing in swimming, really sort of focusing on having an efficient stroke, making sure you can kind of maintain your stroke and be efficient in the water to be able to and swim long distances. So we had a lot of technique focus, I'd say, initially when we first started training together, and then it was all about trying to build the endurance, and from there. And Daisy was just she trained so incredibly hard throughout all of the production, throughout the whole build up. Even when she was shooting in the studio, she'd come and train, and just it was fantastic to work with her. I think probably one of the very final days of shooting was when we were in the Black Sea. It was the end of 9 days on the Black Sea filming the channel attempt swims, and that was kind of everything that we'd been training for, those incredibly tough efforts. And it was the end of, I'd say, 6 to 7 months working together. So much, Daisy had done so much swimming at that point, and I watched her. She got into the water and she was swimming, keeping up pace with the boat, and her swimming was just absolutely fantastic, and she just didn't stop. She could just keep going and going and going, and it just showed how much fitness, how much how hard she'd worked, I think, was really shown in that scene, or that those scenes at the end of filming. So that really stood out for me, because it was just so special to see her do that and see all of that hard work kind of come together. And yeah, it was brilliant. I think it's such an incredible story, and I think it's amazing that Trudy's story is being told, and people are going to be able to see it. She was a trailblazer for women's swimming and and women's sport in general. I think as a woman who was an athlete, it's such an incredible story, and I think lots of young people and lots of people are going to be inspired watching, and seeing this movie. She didn't take no for an answer. She was very told she couldn't do something and did it anyway, and that sort of overcoming adversity is so powerful. But it's also such a heartfelt film as well. It's about family, and I think any athlete or sort of anyone that goes through kind of struggles, it's your family that kind of help you and support you and give you the strength to kind of carry on and see the bigger picture sometimes for yourself. And I think that really comes through in the film, and I love that. And for me as an athlete and having that experience throughout my career, my family were a huge part of that. So I loved that element of the film just as much as seeing Trudy's story play out. Jellyfish, love, and strength.